Steph Curry's going to be MVP of the league. Here, write it down. Go ahead. Put it on the big board. I'll be here all year. We can revisit it. I'm watching.
Not KD or Harden when the Nets start to get hot.
Here's why. I'm looking at that team last night. I know they're not playing a very good team, but I'm looking at that team. I'm going, look at the Warriors roster. Honestly, let's look at their roster right now. Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, Kevon Looney, right?
Wiggins.
Yeah. Right. Wiggins, right? Iguodala, but look at where he is offensively at this stage of his career. Wiggins is a good NBA player, a good scorer. He's not a star. Obviously, Draymond Green does star-like things in what he does. Steph Curry is out there with this group, and they're undefeated. And I'm going to talk about a play later this morning, back-to-back plays that broke the game open. He didn't shoot the ball, and he had 3 guys chasing him around that led to wide-open threes for role players. He's going to average around 30. They're going to be in the top 4 in the Western Conference. That spells MVP to me with this roster.
That's a hell of a case. It's a hell of a case.
Particularly if you don't get Klay Thompson back till mid-season, maybe January, maybe February before he's himself, and you're in the top 4 in the West, and he puts up those numbers in addition to what he creates for other people without touching the ball or without shooting the ball, to me,
make him the odds-on favorite at least.
I think he is.
Can they win it with Klay if he comes back and he gets back to his normal self?
I don't know if they can win the whole thing. Honestly, I don't know if they can do that.
What about the fact that they have a lot of tradable assets? I'm not going to rule it out. What about the fact that trade deadline approaches and they have a lot of tradable assets, right? Athletic players, they can match up salaries and are well positioned to make a move for a big-time player, Tim.
They might. I mean, look, and you got some athletes up front. You got a Wiseman, you got a Kuminga who hasn't played, who's their lottery pick, because they're very high on. So you think about it, they got 3 guys that are expected to be rotational players, 1 star player, 2 major contributor rotational players aren't even playing yet. Yeah. I can't wait to see what this team looks like in the second half. And you might be right. They might look at their assets and say, we're not going to be able to use all of these guys. Let's go try to get another star.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max is presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests on the Goodyear Hotline. Thank you, Legs. Appreciate it. Speaking of MVPs, there's an NFL MVP that's making a case to win another, making a case to be the highest paid player in the league. That's after Jay tells you why you should listen to Game 2 of the World Series tonight on E!
It's the luxury they have. And this is what you get when you get that other energy source, like I've talked about. He can take a night like this off, and he'll take other scheduled nights off, and you don't lose games because you've got this. And that's what Westbrook was last night. Had to feel good for him. I mean, he's been caged up. He was unleashed. It's like having a Ferrari and you only drive it around your local gated community with speed bumps and going 25 miles an hour. Last night, they opened the gates up and let him get out on the highway, and this is what it looks like. So he wanted to make a statement, obviously, and he looked like Russell Westbrook, but this is going to be the case throughout the season while they try to figure out how do we navigate utilizing him to his fullest with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's going to be a struggle all season long.
Here's how you do it. We start him, give him about 7 minutes, then we let him take the second unit out on the floor.
Stagger.
So we start him because, it's an ego involved. Hey, Russell Westbrook starting guard, blah, 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 UCLA. He get about 7 minutes, and then come on over here with us. LeBron's going to handle it. Then when we go back with the second unit, we'll put you in there so you can do what you did last night.
You know what's crazy, Key? You're so right. And I understand. I do understand the mentality that comes around. Like, I'm a starter. I'm an MVP.
Yeah, we'll start you.
I'm an all-time great. But here's the thing. Like, if I could sit down and just say anything I wanted to Russell Westbrook and have it soak in and have him understand is the best thing for you, the first 6 minutes of an NBA game are garbage.
Exactly.
They are complete garbage.
No one's warm yet.
You know what it is? Here's what it is. It's literally like a handshake agreement. All 10 guys, listen, over the next 6 minutes, we're all going to take a shot.
All jumpers, yep.
We're all going to get one up. We're going to get a little bit of a lather going, all right? And then the game will start. Well, but, guys got to have those first 6-7 minutes, man. I gotta be out there when the game starts. And I guess I understand it. I do understand the mentality, but what's really best for you? So, Key, you're probably right. Maybe it's not even 6. When Chris Paul and James Harden were paired up together, and they only had 2 stars. Chris Paul came out 5 minutes into the game. And then he'd come back.
I'm going to give him an extra 2, though, because it's Russ.
Yeah.
He's going to do a lot in those 4 or 5 minutes, though. He's going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Bottom line is you're absolutely right.
He'll come out with a triple-double after those 5 minutes.
Exactly. Knowing that you're going to finish the game.
Yeah.
Right? You're going
to let you finish.
So those first 42, 43 minutes, you should try to stagger those two guys as much as you can. It's better for the Lakers, certainly better for Russell Westbrook. And then you figure out somehow over the course of the season, you figure out what's the best way to operate offensively the last 5 minutes of close games.
Speaking of about the first 2 quarters, the Knicks had a demonstrative win last night against the 76ers. The game was over in the second quarter, essentially. Second period. Like, got me talking football all the damn time. So it's not even period anyway. What were your big takeaways from that game, from Philly's perspective and from the Knicks' perspective?
I love, first of all, your point about, isn't it nice to – there's no place like the Garden for watching on TV when it's electric. There's no place like it in the entire league. So as a fan, just watching the game, the energy that's there, you're going, wow, the Knicks are up for this game. Right? We're 4 games in, and they're like, okay, Sixers #1 seed last year. This is one of the bullies on the block. Look what we have. So they came at him with energy, and they came at him with, it just was a different approach. They shot the ball great. Sixers didn't. Well, what stood out to me most from this game was the frustration and body language of Joel Embiid throughout the game. And the reason is because there's no playmakers on the floor. Like, Tyrese Maxey's a really good player. I think he's going to be a good player for a long time. But to me, he's a Lou Williams type guy. A combo guard off the bench to bring you energy every night. Shake Milton's not playing right now, and people in Philly are alluding to that. Okay, well, Shake Milton's Tyrese Maxey. They're the same guy. They're scorers playing the point. So now who's out there? Even when they're not on a court, Furkan Korkmaz is their backup point guard, basically.
You know what else?
He's a spot-up three-point shooter.
You know what else? Even when Simmons was on the team at his best and they were functioning at their best, he was the only fluid passer on the team. Other guys, it's not that they weren't willing passers, but it's not like first nature to them. It's not second nature to them. It's like a learned behavior. They weren't natural. So the Sixers' ball movement was never really natural, and Simmons helped that a lot. And now you take the one guy who could do that out of there.
They also, if you watch these guys that are handling the ball for them right now, a lot of it is come off a ball screen, bounce, pick it up if they don't have a shot, because it's just not natural for them to come off a ball screen, drag a guy, keep your head up, maybe split it, get into the gut, find someone, throw the pocket pass, the lob pass off a ball screen. Those are all things Ben Simmons could do. Now, look, I don't think Ben Simmons is the answer at point either to win a championship. I don't. You need a scoring point guard, but he's certainly a much better playmaker than what they have now, and you could see it last night in Embiid. So what does he tend to do in those moments when he gets frustrated? Goes down there, puts his hand up in the air, and ISOs from 15 feet on a face-up. Hold it, jab, hold it, turn it over, take a lean-back jumper, something bad. And you could see it on him last night. Every time he came out of the game, he went down, sat on the end of the bench, and he looked miserable. He looked miserable leaving the court after the game. And I just wonder, how long are they really willing to roll like this offensively before he really gets more vocal about what's going on in the court? Because right now they're, I think, last in the league in pace. They were 12th last year with Ben Simmons. That's a big difference in how you're trying to slog through possessions.
Continuity offense is something that actually the team we're going to mention next has great continuity, and that's the Golden State Warriors, obviously undefeated.